Hey, you've tuned into the GFree and Happy show. Tonight I've got a special guest, Sweet Debbie's Cupcakes with Debbie Adler, owner and head baker of Sweet Debbie's. And she's got the best G-free cookbook, so stay tuned. Hey, welcome to the GFree and Happy show that happens every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Kathy, and I have been GFree and Happy for 5 years and counting now. Tonight I have a special guest. Her name is Debbie Adler. She is the everything, the chef, the cook, the owner of Sweet Debbie's in LA, and she's written a wonderful, wonderful treats book. Actually, it's Allergy-free and Vegan Recipes, and it's called Sweet Debbie's Organic Treats. And we're going to be talking to Debbie in just a few minutes. But first, episode, what number are we? 74 of the GFree and Happy show is brought to you by Menus by Mesa de Vida. Menus by Mesa de Vida help you bring more life to your table. Chef-designed gluten-free recipes, menus, and online cooking classes to help you save time, save money, and make you a healthy kitchen rock star. A little bit about Chef Kirsten. She went on the Food Channel last night, and she was the winner of the Guy Fieri Grocery Wars. So a big shout out to Chef Kirsten last night. It was so much fun watching her live on the Food Network. So tonight I have a great guest, and she is in LA. So it's kind of nice when I have the West Coasters on because it's not so late for my guest to talk to us tonight. So let's welcome on Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
So nice to have you on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're pretty busy. You own a bakery in LA, and you are promoting a really good cookbook. So let's talk about you, actually. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I started my bakery because I was hungry, basically. And I was looking for something sweet because I have a sweet tooth, and I couldn't find anything that didn't have refined sugar. And I went to Whole Foods. I thought, oh, if I'm going to find anything, it's going to be there. But it wasn't. And I thought, out of all the people in the world, I can't believe I'm going to be the person to try to make something that's sugar-free and a sweet. I was in the mood for a cupcake, actually. And I was not a baker at the time, and I went to the aisle where they have all the erythritols and the xylitol and all the tols, and I took it all home, and I started experimenting, and nothing was working. But like I said, I was hungry, and I eventually, about 6 months to a year later, started to come out with some really great stuff, and I wanted to share it. And I thought, I'm gonna open up a bakery, and it turned out a lot of people were hungry too for the same thing, and it was a very big success. People heard about it, and there was such a need for it that the business grew very quickly. But in 2009, when my son was born, he was born with severe food allergies. And I had to rethink how I cooked, how I baked, everything I had learned. I had to unlearn and redo. And I did that for him, but I also had to do it for my customers because they also had children with the same food allergies. So that's what I did. And in 2010, revamped the entire bakery. And it is now completely gluten-free and top 8 free, which is, the dairy, the egg, the nuts, the wheat, the, shellfish is not usually not in a bakery. Put that in there. Yeah. But that's one of the top 8. So it's free of all those things, plus gluten-free, and still it's refined sugar-free as well.
Now, I made one of your recipes today in your book, which is I read it all too. It's really an easy read. It's really cute how you put your little bit of wisdom in each recipe.
Right.
Before there's I'll show it to you in a minute because I've got my donuts. I don't know. Let's see. They're not real pretty now because my grandson and I made them early this morning. But oh my goodness, so easy to make too. I mean, we made it in one bowl and not a lot of mess and hardly any sugar. It was just the stuff and we'll talk about what the ingredients are in some of these, but also in one bowl, no egg, no dairy. It was so tasty too. You couldn't even tell. So before we get into the recipes and this wonderful book, let me show it one more time. It's really cute too. It's a cute book. Let's talk about your son because your son kind of played a big role in how you're using your bakery now. So tell us again, what kind of allergies and how are you coping with this? Because that's a lot of allergies to have.
Oh, well, we found out that he was allergic to dairy by accident. We fed him dairy, which is typical when you have a baby. You give them yogurt and milk, whatever. We gave him yogurt, and he had an anaphylactic episode.
Oh my!
And we were not prepared. I mean, everybody had told us about worrying about all these things, but they, because we were older parents, they said worry about all these things, none of which happened. Nobody told us about food allergies, and we weren't prepared with an EpiPen. We weren't prepared with Benadryl, and we had to find out the hard way. And subsequent to that dairy episode, by accident, I fed him some other things that he anaphylaxed to. And we found out slowly by trial and error all the things that he's allergic to. So as a mother, you can lift a car if your child is under it. You do what you have to do to save your child. So I had to relearn how to cook, and I did. And you would not believe how, when you're creative, you could really come up with some delicious meals and baked goods that you don't need the dairy. You don't need. As a matter of fact, I think everyone should bake this way.
I know. It really saved time too when you didn't have to crack the eggs and whip them up, and
it's healthier.
Yes.
You're not getting any cholesterol. There's no unhealthy fats. It's all the gluten-free flours, which I use, are high in fiber and protein. There are those like the teff and the sorghum and millet. All of those
quinoa.
are very high. And quinoa, very high in protein. So you're not getting, potato starch and tapioca flour. You're getting really high quality gluten-free flours. And the other ingredients are healthy as well. And that's what I think everyone should be doing, because you're not missing anything. You're not
missing anything, and you can enjoy it even more because you're not feeling that horrible.
Right.
You're full if you have all the other stuff. If you ask me, you feel good after you have a nice treat.
Yeah. And it's like food. This is like food, like a dish, It's like, let's have some pumpkin spice donut holes for dinner, and it's a good meal,
You could actually eat that. I have a terrible time sometimes digesting white things like the white flours. I don't care if it's gluten-free or not. And I never had any problem with. In fact, I ate more donut holes than I probably should have, and that's why there's only a few left. But I also wanted to tell you too that with the grandson, he helped me make them. He enjoyed them, and he couldn't, they don't know what's in, they don't ask the adults, okay, what is in this sugary thing, and how can I have more of it? They just say, give me more. So I don't think they ever notice that there's not real sugar in there.
No, they don't miss it. I'm hired to do parties, and nobody knows except the host that these are healthy treats. Nobody says, "Oh, this tastes healthy." Nobody says that. It's all kids and adults eating.
And no sugar highs.
No sugar highs. They're happy. They're content. Nobody knows that they're healthy. They taste like conventional sweets, but they're not. They're healthier. So that makes me feel good that I could do something good for people and they could enjoy themselves. And I always get a smile with every, cupcake delivery. It's really a nice thing.
So is your son doing well then?
Yeah, we're vigilant, we're very vigilant. So he's been okay. It's when they move on, when they get older, that the trouble starts, when they're with their friends and they go out and you're not with them all the time. And I'm not cooking for him all the time. That's when the trouble starts because he's only 6. So I still have him under my control. But,
And yeah, and with the school system, I mean, they're getting better, but I'm sure you'll have to watch out for that too. And you'll have to come back and talk about that episode too, because I like to hear about how kids cope at schools and, parties and all that good stuff.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about this book that you did and how it started. How did you all of a sudden say, I need to write a book? Because I own a very popular bakery in LA. I've got a child that has lots of allergies. I've got a husband. So how did you have time to do this and why?
I did it because of the high cost of shipping, because everybody who does not live in LA who wants to have something from Sweet Debbie's can't necessarily afford, a $50 FedEx overnight to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Some people do it and that's fine, but some people can't. So I decided, well, why not write down the recipes and allow people to make the treats at home? And this way everybody has access. So that's what propelled me. And luckily, a publisher was interested, and I was able to get a publishing deal. And it was it was a long process, but it was a simple process because I had a really, nice publisher. Everyone believed in what I did, and I just wrote all the recipes down, added a few chapters because there was a great need for energy bars. I don't have energy bars at my bakery, but moms were telling me we need energy bars for our kids because there's nothing to give them. Cliff bars don't work, only because so a lot of them have peanuts and things that their kids can't eat. So I had to come up with high protein energy bars that had protein for the children who can't have nuts. So I did that, and there's a whole chapter on energy bars. There's a whole chapter on breads. And so the response has been wonderful because people need this. There's a hole in their menus because they can't go to Trader Joe's and buy energy bars or a loaf of bread because there's so specific allergies. There's so many.
No, that's a really good point too. And I'm in this section here. It's some of the bars, and the one I have is the hemp bar, the sweet cranberry hemp bar. And I am a huge fan of the hemp seeds. I think it does wonders for me. And so I would assume this. I mean, look at this picture. Yum. That looks amazing. Yes, you do have, and then the breads too. I am not one to make breads. They scare me, the gluten-free ones, because there's so many weird ingredients. But if you look at her ingredients too, in this, I'm showing the book, by the way, as we're talking, but the ingredients are hardly anything. And most of her recipes are, you take a bowl, and you put the dry ingredients in, and then you make a little hole in the bowl, and you put the wet ingredients, you mix it up, and you put it in the oven, and it's done. It was really great and easy. And
you don't even need a mixer. You just, with a spoon, you just mix everything. Because it's so, you don't need a mixer.
And at the beginning of her book, too, Debbie's book here, it has her story, but also it has, and I love when authors do this, it has the flours, the list of the flours that you would need. It's got the sorghum, the millet, the quinoa tapioca, and on the other page it's got, the rice bran, the cornmeal, the cacao. And she tells you everything you need at the beginning. So then when you start in with the recipes, it's like, okay. And most of us have some of these flours in our cupboards already. And if you don't, just buy a little bit at a time if you need to. But I have to say, these are amazing recipes and so easy. I want to ask you about the one, where's the one I was going to mark it? It's the wine cupcake, the Pinot peanut one. Tell me how you got inspired by doing a wine cupcake. I mean, how perfect is that for me? I'm a huge wine gluten-free fan.
I just think it's a good pairing, and there's a lot of wineries in California, and I was inspired to do something with wine because now they have these organic vineyards. I thought, oh, they have organic wine, then I should put it into my organic cupcakes and see what happens. And it was so good that it had to go into the book. So
it's in the cupcake and it's in the frosting, and it's really, it's just a few tablespoons here and there, but that's, I think, my first cupcake I will make out of your book too, and I'll have to share it with everybody. But then you have a section, and I will eat a lot of raw treats because I like less ingredients until I found your book, or until, this book came, I came aware of it. And there's a raw section, but I love, and it's really good too. There's a few raw recipes in here that look really easy and fun. But there's a little section I wanted to mention. You tell stories about each recipe, and you were saying that your husband, you were on a raw kick, and you were giving your husband raw lasagna. Tell me what happened there.
Well, I did it once, and then I did it the second time, and he almost walked out on me because he just didn't like it. It was not his thing. I mean, I thought it was delicious. It was when you soak the zucchini strips in the marinara sauce, and the acidity melts them a little bit, and that's how you do the raw lasagna. He was not having any of it, and he almost walked out on me. So I stopped making it for him, but like I said, I loved it, and I just kept eating it myself, and fed him his normal, whatever, his regular, pasta and whatever else he likes. But it's not for everybody. But like you, I enjoy raw treats also. They're easy to make. Everything's done in the blender, and then you just roll up your little truffle balls and throw them in the freezer, and you have an amazing treat that is to die for. So
and me, I am actually I can't eat a lot of sugar. It just isn't part of my lifestyle anymore. So your ingredients, I had it. The stevia and the, how do you say that, xylitol?
Erythritol.
Oh yeah, I had those things in there because I like to add them to different things for a little bit of sweetener. So it's not really hard. Whole Foods and actually QFC, the places in my town now have all of those things. So if you buy things one at a time, is that how you kind of tell everybody to get going on, an organic and sugar-free kind of cooking lifestyle?
Yeah, when you were saying it, I said, oh, that's a good idea. I usually don't say that. I usually say, just get everything you need to make one or two recipes that really stand out, and then use them over time, because you will use them over time. I'm so confident that they're going to like what they make, that they're going to need extra, and it's easy to buy on Amazon. It's right at your door the next day or 2 days later.
Yes.
So you don't even have to go to the store, because people get intimidated. Oh, well, I don't have a Whole Foods. You don't need a Whole Foods. You just go on Amazon, click what you need. They have every single ingredient in my book on Amazon.
There you
go. There's no excuse. You can live anywhere in the world. You can get it on Amazon. And
good point, because I use Amazon Fresh all the time, and actually I've got Prime, so that is a perfect, and I will say that from now on too, that go to Amazon, they have everything, and it arrives at your door.
You don't have to go anywhere.
Okay, so where can everybody find your book?
Everywhere. It's everywhere. It's on Amazon. It's at Barnes and Noble
website.
Well, that takes you to Amazon or Barnes and Noble, buy.com, Powell's, Books A Million, in every store, everywhere that sells books, you should be able to get it.
That's very nice to hear. And then you were at the San Diego Expo. Are you going to any other expos?
Yes, I should be at the gluten-free, allergy-free events that are coming up in Indianapolis and Portland later in the year. I'll be doing a class that's in Syosset, Long Island, next weekend at Oh My Girls, which is a girls' cooking school for little young
Cute.
girls. I'll be teaching cupcakes there, chocoholic cupcakes and my red velvet cupcakes. So yes, I'll do as much as I can in the next year or so, and it'll be really fun. It's hard to get away sometimes with a young son, but I love meeting my people, the people who appreciate what I do. It is such a high to see their faces when they meet me, and how, hear how the book or my treats have changed their lives. So it's very rewarding.
And you ship all over too. Your bakery
Yes,
does ship everywhere because,
we do.
once
But
in a while.
well, in the United States.
Okay. Yes,
Not
in the
everywhere.
Thank you.
In the
In the
United
United
States.
States. And what is the most popular items at your bakery, by the way?
The cupcakes are the most popular, I would say, because that's what I'm known for. But people will order muffins and freeze them. They like the pumpkin muffins. They like the delicious herb stuffed muffins, the banana muffins. But they also like cookies. I have plum lemon pinky print cookies, which
Those
is
are,
my favorite.
yeah, those look really good. And I've
Those are
never seen
amazing.
that recipe before.
It's something I came up with because I thought that thumbprint cookies get really too much attention. So I thought Pinky's gotta come up and take over a little bit. And these are my favorite cookies in the whole world. I am a chocolate person, but for some reason there's something about the combination of the plum lemon jam with the shortbread sort of cookie
Wow.
that is out of this world.
Yeah.
I freeze them. I freeze everything. I love having it frozen. And the brownies are good. They're like fudge. I tell you to undercook it a little bit. So those are popular. So yeah,
You do. You give a ton of little tips. It's not jam packed, so it kind of you have a lot of room to look around at each recipe where you're not missing things. She gives a lot of great tips on each recipe, and if I can do it, because I don't bake because it's very intimidating, this gluten-free flours and things, but you made it very easy. So I want to give out a shout out to everybody. I want everyone to buy this book and try it. Try the easy recipes. She's got a blog on, if you go to Sweet Debbie's organiccupcakes.com, it shows pictures, it shows her book. Everything you need is right there. What's your Twitter handle again?
at Organic Cupcakes.
So give her a shout out, follow her. And Debbie, thank you so much for being a guest on the GFree and Happy show.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And I love my recipe book. Thank you. Okay, so this has been episode 74 of the GFree and Happy show. I hope you all have a great GFree and Happy week.